Well, let's get the opinion of an Irishman here in Paris. He's called Paddy Sherlock, a musician based here in Paris, but of course, as you'll hear from the accent, strongly an Irishman.
Yes.
I'm sure it'll become apparent where you stand as we go along, but go on, tell us, for or against?
If I had a vote in Ireland tomorrow, I would vote yes.
If you had a vote, you haven't got a vote.
No,
Explain why.
vote. As an immigrant, I lose the right to vote in Ireland.
So do you think that might sort of weigh on the vote, given there are lots of Irish people who live abroad?
If the people who have emigrated from Ireland had the vote, I'm sure it would pass massively, yes. And I think that's probably the reason, not just this particular referendum, but that's one of the reasons the emigrants don't have a vote, is to keep the status quo, is to
preserve the status quo, preserve society the way it is, keep things the way they are, keep the church happy.
There's a massive emigrant population out of Ireland. Apparently half the people born in the state since 1920 have left, so that is massive.
Okay, so we saw from our report that many people are indeed for very emotive stuff as well. You know,
right.
You saw one person there sort of crying about the fact that they are discriminated against, they can't get married.
I think, we're talking about 10% of the population, and I'm sure that people who are advocating a no vote and people who will go tomorrow and vote no are not homophobic, or the majority are not homophobic, or at least they don't think they are. But they have to understand that if somebody is from the 10% that is gay, they are in their own rights to feel that if there's a no vote, it is an attack on them. It is a homophobic vote. So, yeah, emotions are high. But emotions are high, I think, in people who are in the no side, on people who are afraid. I think emotions are high on the yes side, on people who have a very strong emotion and a reason.
What are people scared of? That's the issue, because anybody who's responsible can bring up a child. That's surely logic, isn't it? But what are people scared of? Is it just what the Bible says? Is it just the inbuilt prejudices?
I'm not a believer, okay, but I know for a fact that in the Bible, if they're Catholic, Jesus never said anything about homosexuality, for or against. So it's not in the Bible. It's not from the Bible.
I'm sure there'll be Catholics who'll tell me something different about that.
Maybe they would. But from what I know of and from what I read, he never once said one word about that. So what are people afraid of? I think people are afraid of change. I think people are afraid of the free fall that's happened in the Catholic Church, in attendance, in popularity. I'm not sure if the free fall is the same in belief, because I think Irish people have an emotional attachment.
The sex abuse scandal has obviously dented that faith in the church, hasn't it?
Yes, they couldn't have handled it worse. I don't know if people in France, or this is the English service, so people are aware of what happened in America, people are aware of what happened in Ireland.
We've reported extensively on that. It was
disastrous, and they deserve to be dragged through the courts, and they got it wrong, and it was absolutely evil what happened. That's left a huge stain on the political situation, the political religious situation in Ireland. But that being said, I think a lot of people who have dropped their church, I think this happens when people change. I think they still have an emotional attachment. If that church was modernised, if the people felt they were more part of it, if it was less hierarchical, maybe they'd go back.
The Pope
personally, myself, no. But
well, I mean, the Pope Francis has made certain remarks which hint that he's not 100% against.
It seems perfectly clear that that's the right direction to go down. I mean, how could they think otherwise? And especially if you look at the history of religions change all the time. They change They evolve with people. Let's
hope people evolve. Let's hope people change their attitudes.
Yes. Now, the thing in Ireland, it is changing. It's changing very fast in Ireland. And I think people are afraid of change, and obviously more afraid of fast change. So it was pointed out by Panty, who's a cross-dressing star in Ireland.
Okay.
And it was pointed out that Ireland is a small place, so everybody now knows somebody who's gay. They have a gay uncle, they have a gay cousin, they have a gay child, they have a gay neighbour, and most people aren't afraid anymore, because they kind of go, oh, and they now mostly go, what's that about? It's not, why... they don't even have an opinion anymore.
Let me play devil's advocate. Yeah. Is that just the Dublin view? Is the view different as you get further into the country, into the back of beyond? Cork, where my family originates from, that kind of thing?
apparently...
No disrespect to Cork, by the way.
Okay, no, and no disrespect to rural communities. Apparently the rural vote is more stacked in the no sense.
Which one might expect. It's more conservative.
Yeah, and it's, people are connected to the land, and people who are connected to land are more conservative. They have historical reasons to be.
One of the
more
banners against saying that you can't make a herd with two bulls,
for example.
which is true, but we're not talking about a herd. We're talking about a family. And
we're talking about family, and we're talking especially about. Don't forget that people who want to get married. Look, apparently, I was in the debate earlier this evening.
Yeah, with Francois Picard.
And the presenter Francois pointed out that 6 out of 10 children in Ireland are born out of wedlock. Now, I didn't know that.
Which
it seems incredible.
Again, raises questions about the role of the church and people's beliefs and things evolving, doesn't it?
Yes, but it also raises the issue about marriage. So apparently, if all the heterosexual people aren't going to get married, then and homosexual people want to get married. Some homosexual people want to get married. It really is a question of equal rights, because it's not that people have to get married or should get married. It's that if they want their love to be given a constitutional stamp of approval, a constitutional protection, because that's what it comes down to as well. It's about property. It's about when there's a death of a spouse, and if they have children, it's especially about death of a spouse if there are children, because then you get into very, very deep matters about adoption, about who looks after the children.
On that issue of children,
Yes.
though, Paddy, surrogacy, isn't that something that might be an issue that the Catholic Church is concerned about in Ireland?
Not just the Catholic Church. I think a lot of people are concerned about surrogacy, and that has been the bogey word in Ireland of the No campaign, and a giant red herring. Because, why? Irish law hasn't dealt with surrogacy, full stop. They haven't done anything about it yet. So if I lived in Ireland and I wanted to get a baby, I could go to some third world country, or some poor country, I don't like saying third world, sorry, some poor country, and I could pay somebody to have that baby for me. Now, obviously there's huge legal repercussions if I did that, but I could do it, whether I'm heterosexual or homosexual or single. That's possible. It's possible today. So to say that tomorrow's vote is about surrogacy, it's not. It's about equality in marriage. Surrogacy is further down the line. Now, the other question I would say is that people who are saying we have to vote no because surrogacy is going to be open to gay people, I would ask, do you think that when the surrogacy law is passed, it should treat people equally or not? So let's say Ireland does allow surrogacy, which I think is unlikely. If they did allow it, well, then are you saying then only heterosexual people should be allowed to have it? And I would say, and I think the yes people would say, well, if you allow surrogacy or any other thing in marriage, everybody should have access to it and rights to it. And that's where it comes down to. The people who are saying no are saying in a future, further down the line, we might want to discriminate again.
I was going to say, it seems to be about something that is enshrined in people's prejudice rather than good practice in many ways, if you think about it. Because, having a child, if you're heterosexual, you don't need to go to child classes in order to discover how to bring up the child.
I don't think you need to go to child.
Just go away, do it, get on with it, and see what happens. There's no great preparation.
I don't think gay people need to go to child classes.
No, there's so much more screening on gay couples.
Yes.
For what good reason? I don't see it.
Because it's a hangover of...
It's prejudice, isn't it?
It's prejudice. It's fear. It's fear. I don't want to say prejudice. I don't want to say homophobia. It's fear. And it's fear. It's the last remnants. Hopefully it's the last stand of people who were homophobic before. I said earlier on Francois' programme that when I was young, there was gay bashing in Dublin, and they beat a man to death in Fairview Park in Dublin when I was young. It went to the final, it couldn't have been worse in terms of homophobia. Thankfully, that's been left behind. There's been great campaigns by David Norris, by many, many other people in the gay community. But you can't call that a gay agenda. It's simply been going, stop this, respect us, love us, and now give us rights.
Paddy, we're going to leave it there.
Okay.
I'll leave you with a John Lennon quote. If it's love and it's between two people, I don't care whether they're men or women or whatever, it's okay with me. That's what he said. And John Lennon spoke a lot of sense.
Yes. Thank you, Mark.
Thank you, sir, very much indeed. Paddy Sherlock there, our Irish voice on this eve of the big referendum in Ireland on the issue of gay marriage. Thank you, sir, very much for joining us. Great to see you.